Being your own first responder means more than just learning how to use a gun. It also includes medical training. We're going to talk about it with Ron Charrette from Medic Up Consulting next.
But first, if you have legal matters that involve firearms, then you need to call California firearm lawyer John Dillon. And if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant, call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Call 760-642-7150. Or you can visit his website at DillonLawGP.com.
All right, you've heard of lawyering up?
Yep.
Well, we're going to talk about medicing up.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
With Ron Charrette, he's the owner of Medic Up Consulting. Ron, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. How are you, sir?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. So tell us about Medic Up Consulting. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so Medical Consulting, what we do right now, we do LA County CCWs. We also incorporate medical training, so like stop the bleed, use of tourniquets, wound packing, chest seals, stuff like that. Our whole goal is to make, like anyone into like a force multiplier. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a deputy sheriff also for the last 9 years, also EMT last 5 years. And our team, it was about 7 of us, consists of ex-military and EMTs and law enforcement. Yeah, so we try to educate the public, just these firearms, be safe with it, firearms, be safe with it, know your laws, know the limits and all that. And also, how to fix yourself in case you were to get hurt, This stuff happens every day, whether it's a car accident or you taking out your gun to protect yourself, stuff like that, maybe an active shooter, Lord forbid.
Well, back in I learned first aid back in the 80s, and it was, it was pretty basic back then, and it feels like within about the last 20 years, first aid in general has become more focused and a little bit far more technologically advanced, with like tourniquets are a big part of first aid these days. People know how to use it way better than they used to, and they're sold pretty regularly. I mean, you can practically, find them in any drugstore these days. They're all over the place. But it seems like the most important, maybe you can speak to this being an EMT. Mm-hmm. It seems like, the most important thing on any emergency situation is to stop people from bleeding. That if they broke a bone or whatever, you can set that later. But if they're bleeding, you got to act right now.
Yes. So that's one of the major pushes that we, showing, whether it's teaching police officers or just civilians. It's like, you got to stop that bleed. You can bleed out between 1 to 5 minutes, depending how severed that artery is. We talk about femoral and our brachial artery. I'm not trying to get too technical, but, some general terms. We got to stop that bleed right away. Otherwise, that person, they're actively trying to die in front of you if they're massive hemorrhaging and all that. So
you said 1 to 5 minutes?
1 to 5 minutes, exactly.
And what's a typical, what's the typical response from an ambulance? It's not 1 to 5 minutes.
No. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so you got to know this stuff.
You're looking at hopefully within 7 minutes if they answer. So you might be, your question might be like, what do you mean if they answer? So working and living out in LA, Los Angeles area,
mm-hmm.
A lot of people find it hard to believe. I don't know about San Diego, but a lot of people find it hard to believe that when they call 911, they expect people whoever it may be to show up. But what happens when they don't answer the call? So that's a common thing in LA City area. And our students can attest to this also, is that when they call 911, no one picks up or they get an answer machine. So we drive it home where you have to learn these vital skills just in case your safety net, aka the 911 system, is not working. So that, to our surprise,
what is that? Maybe you don't know the answer to this. We don't have to get too deep into this, but what do you mean it's not working? Like, are there just not enough operators, or what's going on that they wouldn't pick up?
impacted system, impacted the whole EMS system. That's what's crazy what's going on. It's really prevalent in the LA City area. So, so that's why at our CCW courses, we teach Stop the Bleed Incorporated in our CCW courses. They actually learn this skill. And I say a group of 15 or 20 students, I ask the question, all right, who in the group has call 911? You know, you get about half the people. Okay, out of the half the people, who call 911 and someone not answer? You'll get about one or two. And everyone's looking at each other like, wow, that's a thing? Yes, it's a thing. So it's more important for you to be your own first responder. You having a gun on you as a, CCW owner, and knowing this skill, the medical skill. It's crazy. A lot of people don't know this. I don't know how it is in San Diego, if you guys ever even come across that at all.
It's the same way, but even better weather.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, honestly. I haven't heard about that level of no response from 911 down here in San Diego, but that doesn't mean it's not the same. But no matter what, like you said, ambulances are at least 7 minutes away, and someone can bleed out in 1 to 5 minutes. I've been on the scene of a horrible accident, and here and there a couple of medical emergencies, and you got to act. You got to act right here and now. And I got to tell you, I know that if you don't know what you're doing and you sit there and you watch somebody pass, you watch somebody die, I guarantee you're going to be thinking about that the rest of your life. I could have done something. I could have done something.
I'll stay forever. I'll stay with you forever. And, you have that survivor's guilt after the fact, and what could I have done, to make it better that one, day. So that's one of the reasons why I took this medical thing, seriously, is me being a deputy sheriff. I'm like, whoa, I really don't know that much. So let me learn this skill. And this skill just bloomed into something where I'm teaching fellow officers and deputies as well as the public too. So it's a beautiful thing that, it grew out of this.
That's interesting. Okay, so, and we were talking about the stop the bleed. That's like the phrase that, like I said, it's become more focused and, like I said, back in the 80s when I learned first aid, I mean, it was everything from, we spent as much time on how to remove a splinter as we did, putting direct pressure and indirect pressure, you know what I mean? But it really seems to be a lot more focused and a little bit more data driven is maybe a little bit a better description. But stopping the bleed seems to be the second only to someone not breathing. If they're not breathing, you got to get them breathing first. Is that?
Yes. Yeah. So we all know about CPR, have a understanding of what CPR is. But stopping the bleed is just as important. I say it like this: you see drops of blood coming out of someone, a massive bleed. So we got to first grasp what a massive bleed looks like, and you got to think of like a small garden hose or something that flowing of blood is just so much. You're like, wow, you need to stop right away. But the skill through the Stop the Bleed program, allows everyday people to learn this vital skill wherever. We're just one of many, resources out there able to give, facilitate this subject to the general public. If more people learn this skill from traumatic, they could survive most traumatic injuries regarding, loss of blood. And this applies everywhere, it applies, we drive cars every day. Yeah. Right. How many times you see a car accident on the side of the road or, something that happens, you work late night. And if you're more likely to use this skill, than anything else.
Yeah, oh yeah. Especially that's probably the most common, right, is a car accident. I mean, honestly, most of us are probably going to get through life without having to deal with a bullet wound. But it's less likely we're going to get through life without being witness or possibly being a part of a pretty serious car crash. That's probably the most common. Is that the most common? What do you see normally? What are people dealing with out there when it comes to something that they could have helped as far as first aid?
Car crashes, motorcycle down. So we have a lot of mountain areas in Los Angeles National Forest. So car crashes, big time. bicyclists in the pathways, and out in the busy freeways that we have, car accidents, massive bleeding, that type of stuff. So if you're a bystander, or even it happened to yourself, you can, before first responders even show up, we get that 1 to 5 minute window for you to start acting. We're not, California, we don't have a mobile blood bank yet, like some states do, or some countries do. So we gotta, stop it right then and there. And not only that, a lot of people buy, say, first aid kits, and they may have never opened their first aid kits before.
Yeah, right.
Or they get a first aid kit with 130 Band-Aids in it. Okay, I'm good to go. So it's kind of like educating people too. What's the correct type of first aid kit you should get for a situation that you potentially die from? So that's a whole nother educational thing too. It's like, okay, I took a class. Now, what are the correct tools? That's why our classes, we give each student a tourniquet, a cat tourniquet or a soft T tourniquet. Yeah. And we actually train everyone on both of those tourniquets, because both of those are pretty much out in the field, whether it's by police officers or by fire departments. So we want to train the public to know all these tools and how to apply it to themselves or, a fellow neighbor. Because it's one thing of buying it. Okay, it's in my car. It's in the shrink wrap paper. Then you need to use it at the time of need. You're like, oh, crap, I got, blood on my hands. Now I can't open up the plastic, because the same thing is going to In-N-Out and opening up a ketchup thing, and I can't, my hands keep slipping, right? So it's that whole educational thing also that, okay, you learn the skill, now you know what kind of tools you need. And so, yeah, that's all, that we were trying to convey and get out there.
Folks, do you have jewelry that nobody wears anymore? Maybe a watch that's just gathering dust in your closet? What if you went to Leo Hamill's and sold it? You could use the cash to get a gun or take that pistol class you've been talking about. Well, when you sell your used jewelry or watches to Leo Hamill, not only do you get the best deal in town, you're also supporting the Second Amendment. One of the easiest ways to support the Second Amendment is to support our partners like Leo Hamill. Call him at 619-299-1500, or you can visit their showroom on San Diego Avenue and always get awesome service at Leo's.
All right, we're talking to Ron from Medic Up Consulting about first aid, and I just found out off the air, Action Jackson, what did you learn how to do over the weekend?
Apply a tourniquet.
Nice. And how old are you?
9.
Was it hard to do the tourniquet?
It's actually easier than you would think.
It is easier to think. And who taught you how to do it?
Ashley, aka Smashly on Instagram.
Smashly did, and she's a police officer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Did
awesome.
you do it on your dad? The tourniquet?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Oh, that's.
Be ready, Dad.
Jeez.
When you're sound asleep.
I'm not quite sure what that.
I'm not quite sure where that's going.
A little
either.
worried. All right. Anyway, back to Ron.
Yeah, Ron.
Ron, how's it going, man?
Good. Yeah, that's exactly who should be learning this skill is children. I would push it hard that if you learn this skill to teach children in the school setting, I mean, it just makes sense to us.
Well, kids get hurt a lot, right?
Absolutely.
They're always getting punctured and, whatever, skinned alive.
But I think Ron's thinking more like, say, from a school shooting, where kids could actually jump in, and possibly, because, first aid, it's a matter of minutes, right?
Correct. So, this is exactly, we have a lot of school admin coming to our courses. And after we're done with the course, they usually come up after the class and they, want to chit chat. And they're looking at us like, why is this not getting taught into schools? I'm like, you know what? You just became an ambassador to this program. It's up to you now to go take this information you just learned and take it back to, your admin, the higher ups, and let them know why this is important.
Now, and you're in L.A.? Are you an L.A. sheriff? Deputy?
Yes, L.A. sheriff. Yes.
Okay, and you're Medic Up Consulting. You guys teach classes then?
Yes. Yeah. We teach stop the bleed classes. Yeah.
Okay. And so anyone in the Orange County, LA,
Yeah.
even Ventura County, San Bernardino, anybody in the surrounding area can come take classes from you.
Yes, we had people all the way from Las Vegas come out and take our classes. But yeah, everywhere. We just held one today too in South Orange County in Mission Viejo to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. 19 of students showed up over there and learned it actually today, and they were all issued tourniquets also. But yeah,
Nice.
we're really busy. Make sure we're trying to get at least 1 or 2 classes out a month. Trying to pack it in and just give the skill out.
And you also
yeah,
teach the CCW class.
Yeah, we teach LA County CCW.
So talk about that. I mean, he's issuing, right? That's how's that going, you think?
Yeah, he is issuing. So far, there's up to 3,000 issued in the last year and a half. So yeah, it's beautiful. We help our students to get on the right track on how to figure this thing out. It's not that difficult living in LA County, to be honest. There's a crime everywhere, so everyone has good cause. I think everyone's just wondering, what's good cause? I'm like, where do you live? Oh, LA City. All right. Do you see this, and that? Yes, that's your good cause. I'm like, do you have a Rolex watch? That's your good cause. I mean, it's so bad right now. It's out of control.
Well, that's not bad. 3,000 in a year and a half. That's about on. That's what San Diego's issuing. About the same track. So it's almost 200 a month, something like that.
Very nice.
I'm not good at math. I had to ask Jackson to do the division for me, but he did it.
Easy peasy.
It's easy peasy. Hey man, why don't you ask him your question? What questions you have for him?
What's your favorite gun?
Good question.
Oh, so great question. I just picked up a Staccato 2011, P Duo. So.
Oh, that's right. You're a cop, right? That's not a fair question. He's allowed
that wasn't good.
Yeah, he's allowed to have anything he wants. He's a little. Some of us are a little bit more equal than others.
Yeah. So my second favorite, I guess you can say, will be the 1911 TRP I just picked up also.
Those are outstanding. In fact, weren't those made for wait, I might be wrong. I was going to say, were they made for LAPD SWAT or no? I think they were made for, I think originally the TRP was a Springfield copied what they made for, it might have been FBI SWAT. I could be wrong.
You got me there.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Super nice though, right?
Those beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What do you carry?
So I carry at work a HK45 USP.
Is that your choice, or how do they do that?
No, yeah, it's my choice. They issue us MMP 2.0 9mm. But yeah, I always had the H&K on me. I like it. I train with it all the time. Have a Surefire X300 on it. I love it. Can't complain.
Now you've been a cop more than a couple of years, right? You've been there for a while. Am I allowed to say cop? That's not offensive. Should I say police officer or deputy? That's not
whatever. It's the same. Yeah.
All right. You've been a deputy for years. How's it been being in law enforcement the last couple of years? It's been a little sporty, right?
Yeah, it's been a little difficult. Things here and there, but I think the rewarding thing out of this is teaching my peers. Teaching my peers this medical stuff, going back to the medical stuff. I was fortunate enough to train our Sheriff's Academy a couple of weeks ago. 80 recruits. Out of the 80 recruits, I asked them who knows what a tourniquet is. I say maybe 20 of them out of 80 didn't know what it was. Actually, sorry, 20 out of 80 knew what it was. The rest of them did not know what it was. So it was really rewarding that week, me teaching them that skill and showing them, and they all got issued tourniquets themselves. It made me feel good. Just in case an incident was to ever arise, they will not forget that moment. So that was a self-fulfilling thing to me.
Tourniquet guidance with tourniquets has changed over the last 30 whatever years. It used to be that they were really the guidance used to be that you should only use a tourniquet when you know the person is going to lose the limb. And that is no longer true. Now it's like tourniquet everything, man.
Yeah. So we're tourniqueting for massive bleed. It's not for everything. So people have a misconception. I'd say a gunshot wound got through on through. Well, if it's oozing blood versus massive bleeding, that's going to take something else. It's not going to necessarily take a tourniquet. But if you see that massive bleeding, yeah, you're going to throw that tourniquet. What we teach is high and tight on the limb. So whether it's arm or leg, get it high and tight. Yeah, you can have that tourniquet on there for a nice up to 6 hours. We had other emergency trauma doctors in our courses, and they've seen up to 14 hours.
Jeez.
And that person not lose a limb. So it's, that phenomenon or that old saying of, you're going to lose a limb, that is not the case. That is not the case at all. But yeah, for us in LA County, we're fortunate enough at the point of injury and applying that tourniquet, you're going to be seen by a trauma 1, trauma 2 doctor, there's rather trauma 1, trauma 2 hospital within 30 minutes. So that tourniquet in reality is not going to be that much time on you, given the fact that hopefully, someone called 911 or 911's on their way. Or if not, buddy transport, putting someone in your car and taking them to the trauma center. So, yeah, up to 30 minutes tops, you'll probably have that on, in this day and age.
That's
in
awesome.
a big city.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how often do you guys have classes every week, or how often are you guys doing classes?
So we have classes, we do twice every month. So it'd be in various areas like San Bernardino, in Los Angeles area, Orange County, various areas, wherever we can find a venue. We're always looking for more venues. We always want to expand. My goal, me and my wife say we want to go teach out in San Diego and spend a nice weekend over there. So if you guys have San Diego that wants to have a Stop the Bleed course by Medic Up Consulting, we'd be more than happy to go down there. But yeah, we're trying to expand, trying to get all of Southern California to learn this skill. And you're going to learn the skill, and you're also going to walk away with a tourniquet. You're going to learn the skill and get a tourniquet with the class. Instead of like, oh, I'll get it later on. No procrastination. You will have one. So.
Nice. What else do you what about like what do they call it? Are they Joe, what's the term for the
hemostatic?
Hemostatic, like the hemostatic, like sponges and
yeah, like combat. So it's called combat gauze or Celox gauze. So yeah, that stuff. So think of gauze. Say you have to pack a wound. Say like the upper clavicle area. We call those junctional areas. That's where you're gonna pack a wound. So you might, if you have gauze, which is great, combat gauze even better. If you had nothing at all, you can use a T-shirt or a sock, and we don't care about being a sterilized environment at all. The reason for that, because we have 1 to 5 minutes before we bleed out. So the infection stuff, they can deal with at the hospital, but at the point of injury, we got to stop the bleed right away. So that's another little tip that we give out. And, we have a lot of doctors coming to our classes too, and they can attest to it. Yeah, we don't care about sterilization at this point.
Right.
Get in there. If it's their sock, it's dirty, you're going to use it and pack that wound and stop that bleed.
What do you think about Jackson? What do you think about that, man? Would you put a sock in someone's wound? Kind of gross.
It would be gross, but it's better than nothing.
Amen to that. You're exactly right.
Yep.
So being a deputy close to L.A., I'd imagine, I don't know how much L.A. County deputies go into the actual city. I don't know what the overlap is with LAPD, but, L.A. in general is considered kind of a hot spot when it comes to, criminals with guns. How often do you see a gunshot wound on the job?
So gunshot wounds are very prevalent. So where I'm working, I'm doing a lot more training, so I'm not much in the field right now. But gunshot wounds is a really prevalent thing. So I have our Instagram page at Medic Consulting, and I'm always posting about, whatever's happening in our neighborhoods, because I think that's, one, it's helping the good cause for CCW holders, hint, hint. And two, it shows that what's actually happening around us that's not making the major news. But gunshot wounds is happening all the time. Not only that, is stabbings and machete type wounds and stuff like that. So there's a lot of little stuff that's happening.
So Medic Up Consulting, what's your website?
medicupconsulting.com, and you can find us on Instagram at Medic Up Consulting.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.